I was trying to figure you out. Shit, you was trying to catch me coming in, and I was trying to catch you coming in. And you wouldn't come in, so I was like, fuck. So it was just like I had to switch my game plan up.
Jab is giving Crawford a lot of problems right now. You see him thinking, and Brook is doing the right thing. He's jabbing. That's the most important thing he can do right now because it sort of keeps him out of danger. It helps him to kind of create his range and where he wants to let his shots go, and it's also got Crawford thinking.
But like I said before, I think we were both in great shape. I just feel like the key to the fight was his jab. You know, he took his jab away. If I would have took his jab a little bit more, I felt like I would have been more successful. And that was pretty it. That's pretty much it. I think that was the key to the fight, his jab. Other than that, I feel like
There's no more basic than the jab. In your case, the left jab, which I feel the most important punch in boxing. What do you think?
I agree. A jab can set up a lot for you, and a jab can also get you out of a lot of trouble. You get hit with a big shot and you're hurt, that jab can keep a guy off of you and keep him out of range, and it also allows you can win around with a jab if you know how to use it. So the jab is just it's a lost art today.
Distance, leverage, timing, a lot of that is set up with the jab. One of the things I love that you do is you fence with it, you know, to get that distance. Give us a little illustration here of Andre Ward's jab.
What's up, YouTube, man? Welcome to the channel, man. So let's dig deeper into this Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, man. This is a really intriguing matchup for me, man. I just been watching and studying these fighters like real in depth. A lot of people are breaking this fight down so subjectively. You know, they're not using rational reasoning. They're not using good reasoning. I'm using actual breakdown. I'm trying to break down not opponents, because these people are trying to break down opponents. Like, oh, Mikey Garcia. Like, dude, this is not Mikey Garcia. This is Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Why are you talking about Mikey Garcia? We don't care about Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia lost. Why are we talking about Mikey Garcia if he lost? Let's talk about something else. We're not talking about opponents because styles make fights. Okay? It's not going to mean nothing. Now, let me say this. Just because you beat somebody with a particular style does not mean you can beat another person with a different style. Understand that. Now, let's get into it, what I want to emphasize in this video. Now, this is the point this is something that I noticed about Terence Crawford. He not strong defensively. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have good defense, but his defense isn't the best. Now, he does have defense, but it's not necessarily his strong suit. He uses distance and, you know, angles. He uses head movement a little bit. Not enough. You know, not enough. So this is what I want to say. Now, if you watch the Kell Brook fight, Terence Crawford probably lost every round of that fight until he knocked out Kell Brook. And I'm going to explain why. He couldn't get past that jab of Kell Brook, and the jab was really starting to swell up his eye. We know Spence has a terrific jab, man. And you can utilize the jab in so many different areas. Now, here's why the jab is so important, right? And Terence Crawford told Kell Brook to his face, he said, I was trying to figure you out because he couldn't get past that jab, you know? And I'm going to explain everything. So, utilizing your jab is a very important thing to do, because if you can get a guy thinking about your jab, it's going to throw your opponent off. He going to be thinking about trying to get past your jab, but he's not going to be looking out for them other punches. I'm telling you, if Errol Spence can establish that jab, you know, early on, he can control that fight. Crawford's only chance is to switch to southpaw, which he'll have no advantages in, because it'll be two left-handed fighters, and that's not going to stop his jab either. See, what Kell Brook, the reason why Kell Brook got knocked out, he told Terence Crawford after the fight, he said, you got good power. He said, but it wasn't really the power, it was more the timing. Terence Crawford he got great timing. He has really great timing. You know, and that's where his power comes from the timing. That's where Ugas' power comes from. People kept asking, why wasn't Ugas throwing punches? Why wasn't he moving? I watched every single possible fight I could watch on a Yadira's Ugas leading up to the Spence fight. And I'm telling you, he does not move that often. He rarely moves. He's a stationary target because he's sitting down on those punches because he's looking for the opening. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can counter going backwards, but, you know, that's not the way the Ugas fight. He waits for you to open up and then he shoot his shot. He's very accurate. His timing is really good. That's why they say, oh, he was buzzed a couple times. It's like those punches are more impactful because you catching a guy when he is open. He not wasting punches. He's economical with his punches. You know, he throw them body shots, boom, boom. When the body open, you feel him more. You know, a lot of body shots you see landed, thrown, they'd be blocked. They don't really get in all the way. You know what I mean? But I think the jab of Errol Spence is going to play a major key because guys with good jabs give Terence Crawford problems. Kavalauskas gave him problems, and also Kell Brook gave him problems. And it started to swell up his eye, you know. So he couldn't get past that jab. Now, Andre Ward said it. I think even Timothy Bradley said it. If Errol Spence can utilize that jab, it's going to be a long night for Terence Crawford because that jab does a lot of different things. That jab can set up your punches, number one. It can get a guy thinking about the jab. Like, okay, I can't get past this jab. Like, how am I going to get past the jab? And boom, the power punch is coming in. Also, a jab can help you get out of trouble, like Andre Ward has said in the past. You know, a jab can, you know, just completely throw off your opponent. If you running into a jab, you know, every 10 seconds, it's going to be real hard to set up your combinations because that jab is just so prevalent. Look at Cotto versus Mayweather. Miguel Cotto would end his combination with a jab, you know, and it would throw Floyd off. And that's really was cracking the shoulder a little bit into his combination with that jab, you know. When I first started boxing, they told me when you throw a combination, end it with a jab because people aren't really anticipating that. So the jab is a very key punch. Look at Danny Garcia. He said he couldn't get past Errol Spence's jab. And Danny Garcia was very effective against Errol Spence. He landed a lot of good power punches against Errol Spence. I personally think he landed more clean power punches than Errol Spence did. He made Errol Spence miss a lot in that fight. He made him miss more than Errol Spence landed. Errol Spence barely landed a clean power punch on Danny Garcia. That's because Danny Garcia is very defensively responsible and got good head movement. Terence Crawford don't have that. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. Y'all too far up Crawford. You know what? That y'all not really paying attention. Crawford don't have that head movement that Danny Garcia got. He don't got the defensive responsibility, you know, that Mikey Garcia got to block and parry them punches. Like, y'all got to wake up and really start watching boxing. So that jab is going to be very key. Look at Danny Garcia's eye. I ain't never seen his eye look like that ever. You know? His eye was messed up because Errol Spence was landing that jab. He was throwing him off with that damn jab. And I think if he can effectively use that jab against Terence Crawford, it's going to be a hard night for Terence Crawford. Now, the reason why he knocked out Kell Brook was because he switched to southpaw, and Kell Brook didn't really know how to adjust to that. Errol Spence don't have to adjust to him turning southpaw. All Errol Spence has to do is train with southpaw, left-handed and right-handed fighters in camp. Anticipate him switching. Anticipate these things. He has an excellent trainer. You know, he has an excellent ring IQ to, you know, prepare for Terence Crawford. People are saying Errol Spence has no chance. It's ridiculous, bro. Like, let's really break this fight down. You know, we're not talking about opponents and what you've seen in other fights. It's not other fights. It's irrelevant. Understand that. You know? It's irrelevant, man. We talking about this fight right here, right now. What can these fighters do to utilize, you know, their attributes the best? I think Errol Spence's jab is going to play a major factor in this fight. Now, what Terence Crawford can do to counter that pretty much just be timing him, you know? Try to hurt him to the body. You know what I'm saying? Throw body shots. Try to break this man down a little bit. But that jab from Spence is going to be the factor. I wouldn't be surprised if they stopped the fight off the jab when his eye gets swollen up. I promise you. I'm telling y'all. When that eye get swelled up, it's going to be over with, you know? So the jab is the factor to that fight, man. The jab is definitely the factor. And just, that's the part I want to emphasize just for this video. I'm going to do other parts of the fight, but the jab is number one, you know? Jab can discourage somebody from throwing them combinations the way Terence Crawford threw them, you know? And we're gonna talk about them other mistakes that I think that Bomac and a lot of guys are doing. They looking at other fights and saying like, oh, he did this against this guy. That's the way you set yourself up for a loss. You don't understand? This is the last point I want to make. You setting yourself up for a loss because you're saying like, oh, he did this against this guy. When I touch him, it's over with. That's how you set yourself up for a loss. Because you, as an outsider, you don't look for the things that's small. You don't notice the things that's small. Pause. You don't notice the small little, little details and things like that until you in there with the guy. Like Errol Spence said, everybody think they can swim until they get in the water. It's a completely different ball game when you have to stop what the dude is doing in front of you. So it's going to be up to Crawford to stop that jab. It's going to be up to Crawford to stop him from landing them power punches. It's going to be up to Crawford to stop Errol Spence's game plan to take that belt from him. Understand? So this is what I'm saying. You notice the big things. You notice the things that, you taking away little things and here and there that you think you can do, but you're not paying attention to the small little thing that you're going to see. Like, okay, he do this well. Oh, I see what he'll see why he's in the position that he's in. Just like he told Kell Brook after the fight. He said, I was trying to figure you out. He couldn't really figure him out. So he just went to southpaw. It was a challenging fight for him. He went to southpaw to give him a different look, to change the tone of the fight. Like, okay, this not working. Let me switch my stance to throw him off a little bit because this not working. He keep jabbing. I can't get past his jab. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell he didn't get past the jab because his eye was starting to swell up. After 2 rounds, man, like Errol Spence is going to win this fight, man. That's the only way I can put it, Terence Crawford going to have to make, just like Derrick James, bro, said, Crawford going to have to be better. Terence Crawford going to have to make some major improvements. Don't just think you can come there and just stop him and do this other stuff. Like, no, bro. That's not going to happen like that. You got to work. You got to work. You got to really figure this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? This not Mean Machine, bro. This is not Amir Khan who you didn't knock out. This not the Kell Brook who wasn't at welterweight for 3 years. This is the real deal that you're going against. So, yeah, man. I think he in for a rude awakening when he get in there with Errol Spence. And he's seeing like, okay, well, it's not as easy to hit this dude as it looked. Not easy to hit this dude as I thought it would be. And all this other different stuff. It's like, come on, y'all. Y'all got to be smarter than that. I'm telling y'all, boys. These people talking about this not the fight that most people think it is. Crawford going to dominate. Hey, if Crawford can dominate Spence, he's the greatest fighter of all time. Understand. If Crawford can dominate Spence, he's the greatest fighter of all time. And I'm telling you, he's not the greatest fighter of all time. Okay? Because Crawford didn't even dominate Kavalauskas. He didn't even dominate Kell Brook. This man didn't even dominate, a majority of the motherfucking people that he went up against at 147. Like, dominate? He didn't dominate Sean Porter. Where was y'all at for that? I missed that. You know what I'm saying? I think he was winning by 1 round on 2 judges' scorecards. Please tell me how that's dominating. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to wake up, man. Look at this fight objectively. Do not let your emotions and ignorant opinions impact this fight. Now, I am 100%, objective when it comes to these things. I'm leaning more towards Spence, but if I come across some information that I think that for Terence Crawford to win, then I think that will cause Terence Crawford to win, then I'm going to lean towards that. You know, it just, I care about, you know, the truth more than anything. I care about the truth more than my own personal opinion, my own presuppositions, my own anything, bro. If I really believe that Terence Crawford was going to be this and that, like y'all claiming he is, then I would lean towards Terence Crawford. But I'm telling you, man, it's not the case. Errol Spence is going to come prepared for this fight. And I'm telling y'all, Terence Crawford is going to need everything in his tank come fight night. I'm telling y'all, it's not going to be no easy night for him. You don't have to worry about that. Mark my words to this. Terence Crawford going to need everything in his tank when he fight Errol Spence. Everything. That's all I got for right now. I'm going to do a part 3, a part 2, a part 4, part 5, all on this fight, bro. Stay tuned, bro. Check out the videos and come back after everything that I said happened. And like and subscribe, my nigga. That's all I got for right now, bro. I'm out.